Here is a hard truth that most people do not like to hear. Men do not fall in love just because you are beautiful, kind, or different from other women. Those things may catch his attention, but they do not make him stay. Men fall in love when something very quiet but very powerful changes inside their mind. It is not loud. It is not dramatic. It happens slowly, almost invisibly. A hidden switch inside his brain shifts position, and when that switch turns, the way he sees you changes completely. He no longer looks at you as just a woman he enjoys talking to or spending time with. He starts seeing you as the woman he cannot imagine losing. This shift does not happen because of romance alone. It is deeper than that, and most people misunderstand it. And no, this switch is not about emotional safety, the way people usually describe it. It is not about being nurturing all the time or acting like his therapist. It is not about replying fast to messages or saying all the right things. It is not about pleasing him or proving your value again and again. That kind of effort does not flip the switch. The real trigger sits much deeper in his psychology. It is called the identity trigger. This matters because men do not fall in love through feelings first. They fall in love through identity. A man falls in love at the moment he realizes that he is becoming a better version of himself around you. He feels stronger, clearer, more focused. He notices that he likes who he is when he is with you, and that realization changes everything. This is the core truth most people miss. Men do not attach deeply to women who only admire them. Admiration feels good, but it does not create attachment. Men attach to women who elevate them. Elevation does not mean pressure or control. It means that being with you naturally brings out growth in him. He starts thinking differently. He acts more responsibly. He feels more aligned with his goals, not because you demand it, but because your presence inspires it. When a man senses that shift, his mind marks you as important in a way that goes beyond attraction. There is also a common myth that needs to be corrected. People often say men are afraid of commitment. You hear it everywhere. Men do not want to settle down. Men run from relationships. But that is not the real fear. Men are not afraid of commitment itself. They are afraid of losing control of their identity. This fear is quiet and rarely spoken, but it is always there. Men carry a deep need to feel in charge of their life story. They want to feel that their direction, their purpose, and their future still belong to them. When a relationship makes him feel like he is drifting away from who he wants to be, his mind starts resisting, even if he likes the woman. If being with a woman makes him feel smaller, confused, pressured, or off track, something inside him pulls back. But when being with her feels like forward movement, when it feels like progress instead of distraction, the switch inside him starts to flip. It is not a sudden moment where he wakes up one day and decides she is the one. It is a gradual mental shift. His brain chemistry begins to connect you with feelings of growth, peace, and purpose. You stop being someone who pulls his attention away from life. You become someone who fits into his future. When this happens, you become what could be called a safe challenge. You are not chaos. You are not drama. You are not something he has to manage or survive. You challenge him in a way that feels meaningful, not threatening. Your presence makes him think, reflect, and grow without feeling attacked. That balance is powerful. His mind starts to associate you with clarity instead of confusion, with strength instead of weakness, with direction instead of doubt. Inside his brain, this process follows a very specific psychological pattern. Every time a man interacts with a woman, even if he is not aware of it, his subconscious is asking three important questions. The first question is, do I admire her? Not just her looks, but her values, her character, her way of thinking. The second question is, do I feel like myself when I am around her? Or do I feel like I have to perform, pretend, or shrink parts of who I am? The third question is, do I become more of the man I want to be because of her presence in my life? When the answer to all three questions is yes, that hidden switch begins to move. His brain starts marking you as someone important, someone tied to his future self. This is not about romance movies or dramatic love stories. This is biology and psychology working together. A man's brain is wired to seek status and stability. And status is not only about money or social image, it is also emotional status. It is about feeling capable, respected, grounded, and aligned with his sense of purpose. When that bond is formed, he protects you without thinking about it or trying to prove anything. It happens naturally, quietly, almost automatically, because his mind now sees you as something precious. He does not protect you out of fear of losing you, and he does not do it to look good. He protects you because it feels right, the same way a person protects something that matters deeply to their life. He prioritizes you without effort, without reminders, and without resentment. You do not have to compete for his time or wonder where you stand, because your place is already clear to him. You feel it in the way he shows up, the way he listens, and the way he considers you even when you are not in the room. His actions become consistent, not intense for a moment and then distant, but steady in a way that feels safe and real. He starts talking about the future without hesitation or hesitation disguised as jokes. He does not avoid the topic or change the subject. He speaks naturally about plans, possibilities, and direction because in his mind you are already included. You are not an accessory to his life, not something he adds when it is convenient. You are not a role he needs to fill or a box he needs to check. In his inner world, you are part of the structure of his life. You are woven into his routines, his thinking, and his long-term vision. He does not feel like he is giving something up to be with you. Instead, he feels like being with you makes his life make more sense. You stop feeling like you are auditioning for a place in his future. There is no need to perform, explain yourself, or constantly prove your value. The anxiety fades because his behavior speaks louder than words. He chooses you in small, daily ways, not through grand promises, but through reliability. You notice that he makes space for you without being asked. He checks in not because he has to, but because he wants to. Your presence feels expected, welcomed, and respected. In his mind, you are no longer separate from his life. You are part of it. You are not something extra he carries. You are part of the path he is walking. Decisions start to include you naturally, not as an obligation, but as a given. When challenges arise, he does not pull away from you. He moves closer. When life gets heavy, you are not pushed aside. You are leaned into. This is the moment where love stops being fragile and starts becoming grounded. At this stage, his attachment is no longer driven by excitement alone. It is driven by meaning. You are not just someone he loves. You are someone he respects, values, and protects, because losing you would feel like losing stability, direction, and a part of himself. You are no longer an option in his life. You are a priority that exists without question. When a man feels emotionally stable around a woman, not because she fixes him, but because she supports his growth, his attachment deepens. His nervous system relaxes. His guard lowers. He starts investing without realizing it. That is when love forms quietly, not loudly, not through chasing or convincing, but through identity alignment. And once that switch flips, it rarely flips back, because it is no longer about attraction. It becomes about who he is when he is with you, and who he believes he can become by staying. When a man feels that his sense of value, his discipline, and his direction in life all improve when he is around you, love stops being a choice and starts becoming unavoidable. His mind connects your presence with strength and clarity. But when he feels drained, confused, pressured, or like he has to shrink parts of himself just to keep you happy, that hidden switch inside him stays locked. And it stays locked no matter how strong the attraction is. Physical desire can exist without love, but identity alignment cannot. Attraction may pull him closer, but confusion pushes him away every time. This is where most women unknowingly block that switch without realizing it. Instead of inspiring him, they try to impress him. They explain their worth again and again, hoping he will finally see it. They give too much time too early. They overshare their emotions, their fears, and their loyalty before it has been earned. All of this comes from a good place, but it works against them. When you try too hard to prove your value, his brain stops needing to earn it. And the moment he no longer has to earn your value, something important shuts down inside him. A man's love system does not activate through reassurance alone. It activates through effort linked to investment. When he invests effort, his brain assigns importance. When things come too easily, his mind assumes they are replaceable. This is why men often feel more emotionally attached to the woman who challenges them with grace than to the woman who removes every obstacle. It is not about playing games or being cold. It is about allowing space for him to step forward instead of always stepping forward for him. The more effort he puts into deserving you, not impressing you but becoming worthy of you, the more his self-image begins to merge with you. His mind starts seeing you as part of who he is becoming, not just someone he is dating. That is the identity trigger working quietly in the background. He is not chasing you out of fear of losing you. He is moving toward you because staying connected to you supports the version of himself he respects. There is also a powerful element that most dating advice completely ignores. Men fall in love with women who act as mirrors to the qualities they admire in themselves or deeply wish they had. This does not happen through words. It happens through energy and behavior. If a man is ambitious, he is drawn to a woman who holds herself to her own standards without announcing them. If he values discipline, he feels pulled toward a woman who understands boundaries and respects her own limits. If he feels lost or uncertain, he is naturally attracted to a woman who moves through life with quiet direction, even if she does not have everything figured out. This does not mean you have to be perfect or flawless. It means your energy reflects growth instead of need. Your presence shows stability instead of desperation. That reflection creates emotional gravity. He does not want to control you or own you. What he truly wants is to belong to the version of himself that comes alive when he is with you. That is why control never creates love, but inspiration often does. This also explains a confusing reality many women experience. You may notice that a man commits very quickly to one woman and then suddenly disappears from another, even if the second woman seems better on paper. She may be kinder, more attractive, more available, or more emotionally open. But love for men does not work like a checklist. Men do not fall in love because all the boxes are checked. They fall in love when their identity shifts. One woman may remind him of who he used to be, while another shows him who he could become. One feels familiar but stagnant, while the other feels challenging but meaningful. His heart moves toward potential, not comfort alone. That is why he does not fall for the woman who needs him to survive. He falls for the woman who inspires him to rise. He falls for the woman who believes in him without trying to repair him or reshape him. There is something deeply powerful about being believed in without conditions. When a man feels that kind of belief, his brain releases dopamine, the chemical connected to motivation, focus, and forward movement. In a very real sense, you become his emotional fuel. Your presence begins to energize him. He feels more driven, more capable, more alive when he is around you. And once his brain links you to progress, the attachment becomes strong. He is not hooked on your appearance. He is not attached to your words or promises. He becomes attached to the feeling of becoming better because you exist in his life. What many people do not realize is that attraction often sharpens in silence. When you are not competing for his attention, his attraction naturally grows. When you stop trying to prove that you deserve his focus, his mind begins to offer it on its own. Attention works like a form of currency. When it is spent too freely, it loses its value. When it is not always available, it becomes more meaningful. When you pull back just a little, his dopamine increases. He feels a space, a gap, and his instinct is to move toward filling it. That space is important. The hidden switch inside his brain responds strongly to that gap. It sends a quiet message that says, "She is not chasing," which means I need to step forward. Men are not wired to fall deeply in love with women who demand their attention at all times. They are wired to fall in love with women who naturally command it without effort. When your presence feels earned instead of guaranteed, his respect grows alongside his attraction. Another powerful element is emotional contrast. A man's brain thrives on emotional variety, not chaos or drama. There is a difference between unpredictability and emotional contrast. Contrast comes from balance. When you combine light humor with meaningful depth, warmth with a touch of mystery, softness with clear standards, you activate his curiosity. His mind becomes engaged. He starts trying to understand you on a deeper level. He feels drawn not because he fully understands you, but because he wants to. Men are natural problem solvers. When he cannot fully figure you out, but the process feels good instead of stressful, he becomes emotionally invested. He enjoys the pursuit of emotional understanding. This is why relationships that become overly predictable often lose their spark. It is not that he suddenly loses interest in you as a person. It is that the emotional tone becomes flat. When everything feels the same all the time, his mind stops engaging. Keeping a gentle sense of mystery, just enough to make him lean in rather than pull away, keeps his emotional attention alive. There is also a very important distinction that determines whether love grows or fades. A man needs to feel chosen, not trapped. This is where many women unintentionally lose him. Instead of inspiring love, they try to secure it. They look for guarantees. They push for certainty. But a man's love switch does not activate when he feels cornered. It activates when commitment feels like a powerful choice, not an obligation. When your energy quietly communicates freedom instead of pressure, something shifts inside him. When he feels that he is free to leave, but that leaving would mean losing something meaningful, his attachment deepens. The message is not spoken out loud, it is felt. It says, you are not holding him in place, yet you are offering something rare. That is when he realizes he does not want to go anywhere. He stays not because he feels responsible or guilty. He stays because being with you aligns with who he is becoming. Leaving would not just mean losing a relationship, it would mean losing a version of himself that feels stronger, clearer, and more grounded. And that is the deepest form of commitment a man can offer, and that is the deepest level of attachment a man can reach. It happens when loving you feels the same as protecting the best version of himself. At that point, his feelings are no longer only about romance. They are about identity. Being with you feels connected to his self-respect, his growth, and his inner stability. Walking away would not just mean losing you. It would feel like losing access to the man he has become around you. That is why this kind of attachment is powerful and long-lasting. It is rooted in who he is, not just how he feels in the moment. But there is one thing that can shut this switch off almost instantly, no matter how strong the connection once felt. That thing is emotional micromanagement. It kills attraction faster than distance, silence, or even long time zones. The moment you start controlling how he should feel, monitoring what he says, questioning why he did not call sooner, or analyzing how often he texts, his brain shifts into defense mode. He stops feeling relaxed. He stops feeling free. Love no longer feels like a choice. It starts feeling like a responsibility he must manage. When that happens, the love switch does not slowly fade. It shuts down. His nervous system reads pressure as threat. Even if your intentions are loving, his brain interprets constant checking and correcting as control. Instead of leaning closer, he pulls back internally. Not because he does not care, but because his sense of autonomy feels challenged. Men need space to breathe inside love. That breathing room does not weaken connection. It actually strengthens it. Space allows desire to grow instead of suffocate. When you give him the freedom to come toward you on his own, something interesting happens. He does. Men naturally return to places where they feel trusted. Trust tells his brain that he is safe to be himself, that safety creates loyalty. It creates calm. It allows love to deepen without force. The more he feels that you trust him to choose you, the more meaningful that choice becomes in his mind. There is also a deeper layer at work beneath all of this, something most people never talk about. There is a neurological process called identity bonding. When a man consistently feels emotionally elevated around you, meaning he connects your presence with confidence, calm, clarity, and forward movement, his brain begins to fuse those feelings to you. You become mentally linked to his best emotional states. Over time, you stop being just someone he loves. You become part of his internal sense of self. This is when his behavior starts to change in noticeable ways. He becomes more consistent without being asked. He protects the connection without being reminded. He considers you when making decisions, not because he has to, but because you are now part of how he sees his future self. His effort becomes natural. His loyalty becomes quieter but stronger. He no longer feels like he is giving something up to be with you. He feels like he is preserving something important. This kind of bond cannot be created by chasing, controlling, or convincing. It forms when your presence supports his growth without pressure. When your energy says, "You are safe here, but you are also challenged to rise." When love feels like expansion instead of confinement, his mind locks onto it. And once identity bonding happens, love is no longer fragile. It becomes rooted in who he is when he chooses you. When that bond is formed, he protects you without effort. It does not feel forced or calculated. It happens naturally, as if it is part of who he is now. He prioritizes you without keeping score. You do not have to remind him of your place in his life because he already feels it. He includes you in his decisions without hesitation. He talks about the future easily, not because he feels pressured, but because in his mind you are already there. You are no longer an addition to his life. You are woven into it. You are not something extra. You are part of the foundation. The moment it truly clicks, when that hidden switch finally flips, a man's love changes in a very noticeable way. It stops being conditional. It stops being based on what you do for him, how much you give, or how perfectly you behave. His love no longer depends on constant reassurance or effort from you. Instead, it becomes rooted in meaning. It becomes about what you represent to him. You are no longer just a partner. You become a symbol of growth, direction, and inner peace. In his mind, you are the chapter he has been trying to write for a long time without knowing how. You become the calm inside his chaos. You reflect his strength back to him when the world challenges him. You become the soft place he can return to, not to escape life, but to remember why he keeps pushing forward. Your presence does not weaken him. It strengthens him. It reminds him of his purpose instead of distracting him from it. This is not just emotional safety in the way people usually talk about it. This is emotional evolution. It is love that helps him rise instead of settle, It is connection that supports growth instead of comfort alone. It is the kind of bond that changes how he sees himself and his future. And once a man experiences this, it stays with him, because it is tied to who he is becoming, not just how he feels. So remember this clearly. Men do not fall in love through feelings alone. Feelings can start attraction, but they do not create deep attachment. Men fall in love through identity. When he looks at you and sees progress instead of pressure, when he feels admiration instead of obligation, that is when the switch flips. When being with you feels empowering instead of demanding, love takes root naturally. And when that switch flips, he does not chase you out of fear or need. He chases you out of purpose. He moves toward you because being with you aligns with the man he wants to be. He chooses you not because he is afraid to lose you, but because losing you would mean losing a part of himself that matters deeply. If this message felt familiar, if something here made sense in a way it never has before, that is not an accident. That is understanding clicking into place. And the truth is simple. Every man has that hidden switch inside him, but only a rare kind of woman knows how to flip it without force, without chasing, and without even trying. So the truth is this: love for a man is not something you can demand, chase, or force into existence. It is something that forms when his identity begins to shift in your presence. When being with you helps him feel stronger instead of smaller, clearer instead of confused, and more aligned instead of pressured, love grows on its own. It does not need constant reminders or emotional negotiations. It builds quietly, deeply, and with purpose. Men do not fall in love because everything is perfect. They fall in love because something feels meaningful. When he looks at you and sees progress instead of pressure, admiration instead of obligation, his heart opens naturally. You become connected to who he is becoming, not just who he is right now. That is why real attachment feels calm, steady, and secure instead of anxious or chaotic. When love reaches this level, it is no longer about chasing or proving worth. It is about mutual respect and emotional alignment. You stop trying to hold on to him because he is already choosing you. You stop wondering where you stand because his actions make it clear. Love stops feeling fragile and starts feeling rooted. This is why the most powerful women are not the ones who try the hardest, give the most, or sacrifice themselves to be chosen. They are the ones who remain grounded in who they are. They inspire without pushing. They trust without controlling. They create space without disappearing. And in that space, a man steps forward willingly. Every man has that hidden switch inside him. It is wired into his psychology, but it only flips when love feels like growth, not pressure, and freedom, not fear. When you understand this, you stop chasing love and start attracting it naturally, because the deepest kind of love does not happen when someone needs you to survive. It happens when someone chooses you because being with you helps them become the best version of themselves. And when that happens, love is no longer something you have to fight for. It becomes something that stays.